Hi guys, so we have Cailum Finnegan here. He is showing off his Max Rarity Atlantean Mermail deck. Why don't you just talk a little bit about the deck and what's changed recently?
Yeah, so the most recent things that have changed, we got more deep sea support and we had Diva going to 3. So much more deep sea oriented middle of the deck. And I've kind of leaned more heavily into that than a lot of other players have. Kind of the compromise for that is we're cutting down on the mermails and we're leaning more into Hoggifibrax and the nonsense that goes on with that. So pretty much a combo deck at this point.
Alright, so get into it. We'll show everyone the deck.
Yeah. So first things first, 3 Teas, still mandatory. Teas with Dragoons is your optimal starter, but Teas also works as a really effective extender now. A lot of routes you can go where you have a normal summon Diva if you have a Teas that you extend quite far. With that, the only other mermails being played are 1 Megalo and 1 Mander. So as well as being very Hoggifibrax centric, this is basically Calamity's Turbo. And the Mander, while only having the 1 Megalo, still easily gotten out of hand. Jet Synchron tends to do it during the course of most combos where you have a Teas in hand. So it's never really an issue of it clogging in your hand, as well as other cards I have as discard outlets I'll show later.
So no Gund?
No Gund, no.
Pike.
So in most situations I'll have the 1 level 7 Mermail, and once I get the Mander engrave, that becomes a level 9 that I can then overlay with Trishula or one of the other level 9 synchros to make my Calamities. That's basically all I'm trying to do. On the deep sea part of the deck, so 3 Diva, turn 1 pack super, none of that OTS pack. Yeah, so Diva is your ideal starter. Diva is a tuner and Diva puts Neptibus on board. This kickstarts the whole play. You now have your 2 monsters including a tuner for Hoggifibrax, as well as being able to tutor out a bunch of other monsters, because obviously it's the sea serpents that you're tutoring out. Yeah, your ideal starter. And then the other deep sea monsters being played. So there's the 3 Minstrel, which are standard at the moment, and the reason people play this deck. If you're running the Hoggifibrax combo that gets you to Calamities or your Borload Savage and Herald of the Arclight, this card sets it apart from other decks because you're able to take an interruption out of your opponent's hand before you get to your 5 summons. So it gets rid of Nibiru, and this build of the deck also means that whatever card you take out of their hand, you don't necessarily have to give back to them, because we have interactions between Omega and Deep Sea Prima Donna that I'm going to show later. The only other Deep Sea I'm playing is 1 Artisan. So Artisan, not really a brick because it's a water, but this comes up with Deep Sea Prima Donna. If your opponent has a banished card, you can give it back to them, summon this from your deck. This thing's effect brings Neptibus back from the grave. You now have a level 7 tuner, synchro, and 2 level 1s. That's a Trishula. Then onto the Atlantean portion of the deck. So our other normal summons, we have 3 Neptibus. So I play a 42 card deck with 6 normal summons, which is comparable to 5 normal summons on a 40 card deck. 3 Diva, 3 Neptibus. Along with the Neptibus, standard 3 Dragoons, and I'm only playing 2 Infantry, no Marksman. So Infantry in this build of the deck is kind of being played more as an additional body on board early on than it is for going second and breaking boards. There's other cards that serve this purpose, one of which is the 10 E-Spirit Shathana, and I've gone for a 2-2 balance of the 2, as I'll show in a second. Shathana is a level 4 body on board, this is level 2, comes up with synchros, but level 4 obviously is Bahamut Shark. As well as that, I am one of the few people still playing a Frog Engine. So during the course of the Hoggifibrax combo, you were summoning a Coral Dragon and you were summoning a Crocosaur Arcadus. You're drawing cards, you're filling your hand with waters, and I play quite a high water count compared to other combo builds that are focusing on the Hoggifibrax combo at the moment. Filling my hand with waters means I can use the frogs very well as extenders. I can use them for synchro summoning, I can use them for link summoning, I can do lots of things with them. Being level 2 is really helpful as well. I was basically just constantly replenishing resources. If you've got a banished swap frog, you can put it back in deck once Prima Donna hits the grave. There's loads you can do with it. For other waters, Lapis Dragon, if you ever have to normal summon the Neptibus, this needs to be searched at some point off of Dragoons. You don't search this, you don't have a tuner on board. If you don't have a tuner on board, you don't get started. As well as that, Mulan Glacia, we want to take cards out of people's hands. That's why you play Mermail. And finally we have the 2 Shathanas. So this was shown by a Bishar Yu-Gi-Oh as well. So what you can do with Shithana, you can special summon this, normal summon Dragoons, make Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark's effect attaching Dragoons will summon the Totally Awesome. Now you're activating Dragoon's effect, protected by a Toad, and you haven't had 5 summons yet. So you're getting your combo started because you can search a Lapis Dragon, summon it, that's your tuner, pop off with the Halqifibrax, and you're protected from a load of interruptions. Then with that, play the Olion and the Jet Synchron. So I'm not playing the Deskbot because anytime I see Teus, I want a guaranteed discard for the Abyssmander. And you generate so much advantage with this combo that having to ditch something out of hand is not a problem with this. And there's quite often combo routes that I've found, especially incorporating Link Cross and Deep Sea Prima Donna, where I don't want to summon my tuner immediately upon summoning the tokens with Auroradon. So this was the better choice. This card is ridiculous. You've got combos with Link Cross, combos with Auroradon, you've got everything. Lastly, the only hand traps I'm playing at the moment are 3 Nibiru. So I've been bouncing back and forth between Nibiru and Impermanence, and Nibiru is more impactful, Impermanence gives you more coverage in this format basically. A lot of decks are cramming out as many hand traps as they can. The whole point of this deck is you want to go first irrespective of what your opponent has, and going second you can already break boards really well, and that's actually helped with the synchros that you play now. So Coral Dragon and those kinds of synchros are really good at helping you break boards. So Nibiru is the only interrupt we run. Onto the spells. Works really well with the Swap Frogs is Deep Sea Aria. I have a lot of ways to put cards in grave, means I have a lot of ways of banishing cards that are in grave to then search my starters. I can search my Diva with this. If I am already able to get started, I can search the Minstrel with it, and that means that I can reserve Dragoons for searching the Megalo, and that can come up with then making cards like Omega to further my hand loop, things like that. As well as that, along with the 3 Minstrel, play the 3 Callby, you don't want to be stopped. If you can get your combo going with this deck, you win. So you play as many cards to make sure you can do that as possible. Though I don't play Midbreaker Field because it's a really sacky one of. And I'm also playing the Reborn because it's like God tier extender and 1-for-1, which is at 2 in the OCG, and I really wish it was here, but it's not. So that is the main deck. So moving on to the extra, have tokens for the Auroradon and tokens for the Link Cross. So I am playing both, and the thing about my build, I'm not playing more than 1 Olion, because even if I have Olion in hand, playing Link Cross and Martial Metal Marcher, which is the first card in the extra deck, means I can still do combos. I'm not bricking if I see Olion in hand. Obviously Jet Synchron in hand is no problem at all, but basically Halqifibrax can summon either of them and give me access to plays. And the Mander means that even if I'm having to go through the Link Cross play, if I have Teus, I'm still making Calamities. So on to the extra deck. So you have the first card, Martial Metal Marcher. Absolutely insane with Link Cross. There's combos you can do where you go through Link Cross and Auroradon for insane advantage. Yeah, really, really good card. Then we're playing the Garden Rose Maiden, the Coral Dragon. So this is part of that standard Halqifibrax combo now. Jet Synchron is a 1-card version if you play Link Karibo. I'm not playing the Link Karibo, but I have enough cards to get me there anyway. So yeah, these two work in tandem for that combo. Then Deep Sea Prima Donna, a card not a lot of people are playing at the moment, has a lot more utility than people realise. Just summoning it, not using its effect, and then climbing to cards that banish from your opponent's hand, like Omega, means this thing is also putting back in deck the card you banished with Minstrel. So you can be really tricky with what you're controlling in terms of your opponent's hand. And it also is really good for tutoring cards out of the deck, because you can tutor out waters. It's not limited like other cards in the deck are. You can tutor out your Swap Frog if you want to push for a Totally Awesome, things like that. Lots you can do with this. Have the Omega, because looping cards out of the opponent's hand is fun. Vermilion Dragon Mech and Arcadus. So these are the 2 level 9 synchros played for the Halqifibrax combo. This card with Coral Dragon and drawing cards is ridiculous. There are other combos where if I have the Teus, I can leave this on board using this and the Teus to make the Calamities. So I have my pops, as well as having calamities, and none of these combos remove Moulin Glacier from the board. So I still have my battle phase, and you can't attack Moulin Glacier, as well as not having monster effects. Then I'm also playing the DT Trish. So Trishula comes up in a lot of combos. It comes up in both the Aurora Dawn route and the Link Cross route, if you manipulate your field accordingly by playing Prima Donna. And yeah, we're ripping more cards as well as it being level 9. So that's the important thing. On to the XEs, playing Toad, playing Bahamut. So special summoning Shithana and normal summoning Dragoons is full combo, protected because of this thing, as well as being able to make it later on. If I have a Shithana and I don't use it for anything, I can, with Prima Donna, tutor out a level 4 and go from there. Then the last XEs that we're playing, Calamities, because it's game. The card is ridiculous. On to the links. So very few links, because Aurora Dawn kind of limits what you can do with link monsters. So playing the Link Cross. Link Cross does come up less often than Aurora Dawn, but I am very glad that I play it. I do not break as long as I can get the Hulka Firebrax, basically. Speaking of Hulka Firebrax, only play the one, because there's a lot of builds at the moment playing multiple. They're also playing Pot of Avarice. If this combo resolves and you haven't won the game, you're not resolving it again and winning. You've lost. You want to resolve this combo and then control from there. And a large part of the control is maintaining your battle phase so you can push while Calamities is shutting your opponent down. As well as Avarice basically being a dead card in hand, going first most of the time. Because it's not adding to your combo, it's not extending. All the cards I've replaced it with are extending or giving me extra protection. And going second, Avarice is pointless because you want to break a board and kill. So I think Hulka Firebrax at 1 is correct. Then we have the Aurora Dawn. Card is ridiculous. Tutoring out the Olion, again, doesn't always come up. It comes up most of the time, but there are certain situations where I feel it's better to make the Link Cross and go for a more hand looping route. And yeah, you still can't compromise on this. You need to play the card. It's a guaranteed route into Calamities. And then lastly, I was playing Coral Anemone. Coral Anemone meant that I could circumvent the restriction I had on myself by not playing Link Karibo, where there were certain hands with Teos Dragoons, but making Moulin Glacier on 5 summons is awkward. It's the only situation that it becomes awkward. But an enemy circumvented that without using its effect. But Access Code Talker is too powerful not to play at the moment. I really wish I could play the Water Charmer with it. But yeah, going second in particular, Access Code Talker is absolutely insane. And that is the deck.
Okay, thanks, Cailum. Just wanted to ask you why you're not playing certain cards and just choices overall.
Yeah,
so
sure.
A lot of people are playing the Dragite.
Yeah, so Dragite was common. It's fallen off kind of in favour of the Savage unless people can't afford the Savage because it started spiking. I'm not playing Savage, I'm not playing Herald, and I'm not playing Dragite. The Hulka Firebrax combo can go the more Omni-Negate route, but because of the synchros that I have access to, I can deviate to a hand looping route. And it's a hand looping route that ultimately goes through Trishula. So I'm making sure that a lot of cards are getting banished where they're kind of removed from my concern. Because the cards that you're worrying about if you're playing a hand loop variant are cards that, when engrave, are very proactive, or cards that can recur themselves. I'm using Prima Donna, Omega, and Trishula to kind of work around that in a sense. The Omni-Negates I don't feel are as valuable as focusing on that as an offset to Calamities in the format. Yeah, I'm whittling down options in a similar way. I just have slightly less control over what I'm taking away from the opponent, but I can take more away from what they've got, if you get me.
Yep, that's good. Also, you're playing 3 level 9 synchros.
Yes.
So 2 of them are very obvious in the water and they help with it.
Yeah.
The Vermilion Dragon Mech, that's sort of the outlier. Wanted
So the standard Hulka Firebrax combo, you're abusing Coral Dragon being recurred by Garden Rose Maiden, basically. So the Coral Dragon plus a level 3 token will make one of them, bring it back with Garden Rose Maiden, use another token to make the other one. Thing with Trishula, of course, is that you need 2 non-tuners when you're making Trishula. And when I'm making Trishula, I'm usually not making the other 2. I'm using the Trishula along with a boosted Abyss Teos. So I'm making 2 non-tuners, and then I'm making the other 2 non-tuners. And when I'm making Trishula, I'm usually not making the other 2. I'm using the Trishula along with a boosted Abyss Teos. as well as Trishula being very good going second. And there's another card that could be touched on there, which is Axel Synchron. A lot of people don't even read the full text of the card. It has an effect where you can quick synchro in your opponent's turn, similar to what you could do with Desert Locusts, for example. And it being a level 5, along with the frogs, would allow me, in theory, to trish my opponent in their turn, because it's being synchro summoned. Only thing with that is I'm not playing the Axel Synchron. It requires you to send a Synchron monster from your deck to the grave, which means I have gone through the O-Lion route with a combo. I haven't used Jet Synchron as a starter, and that would require playing the desk bot, and I do not want to play the desk bot, Jet Synchron, and the O-Lion. I think it's overkill. Okay. And I already have combo routes with every hand.
Yeah. And the last one I just want to ask, I've seen Appaloosa played as the link for. You've gone for access codes. Is there a reason you didn't choose Appaloosa?
Yeah, so Auroradon is the biggest part of that. Appaloosa is very much a card made going first. And if you are making Auroradon, you're committing to the fact that you're not making an Appaloosa. Access code is very scary going second, as well as being something I can end on going first if I take a link cross route. In those situations, I could have the monster negates from Appaloosa, but again, it's not really relevant going second. And access code is much more dangerous in this format. I would say it ends games, and I'm only playing my one Megalon too, so I need to rely on something to help me end games.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm hoping you'll stick around and do a combo video for us so we can see just exactly how to play this variant. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment below what you thought of his deck, and if you've got any questions to ask Cailum or any bits of advice, go for it.
Shh, not a zombie channel.